What's up? 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 What's happening? What's good? What's up? What's going on? What's going on? We have got to talk. We have got to have that conversation. Now, long story short, I asked on the Platinum page, I put, be transparent. What character flaw has cost you? You know, over the last few weeks, character flaws have cost a lot of people. Whole bunch of stuff. And generally what happens is when you don't catch something early, or sometimes we'll dismiss stuff that other people say about us. You could be in a relationship and somebody says, well, you always, and then at some point, when you hit relationship 3, 4, 5, 6, and they keep saying the same thing, there might be something to it. So I asked the question of, and I said, be transparent. What character flaw of yours have cost you the most? And so what I want to do, hey Tania, one of the things that I want to do is talk to you. Because, I coach you in all areas of your life. So I'm going to coach you on this one too. So I'm going to go through some of the things some of y'all have said. Let's start with Tania. Tania says, my heart being too big. Okay. But see, the funny thing is, for the most part, y'all pretty much had the same answers. It went from heart being too big to Gwen saying too trusting, Mary saying caring too much, Pamela said being patient, believing in others. When you say believing in others, that still goes back to heart being too big, loving too hard. Hey, Dominique, heart being too big, loving too hard. And, a lot of that not trusting. My heart is my worst enemy. Big heart. And a lot of y'all had basically having too big of a heart, holding on to hurt too long, which still goes back to heart issues. So y'all got a lot of feelings and heart stuff going on based upon what I'm reading. I'm looking at fear, having a big heart again, fear, putting too much trust into people, being blindsided, letting fear take over my life. Again, going back to either feelings of fear or being hurt through your heart. Those are generally the answers. Let's see, Mal says being too compassionate after someone has shown me who they are. See, this is when you need a man to really tell you what's going on. Because see, a lot of y'all talk to women. And so sometimes you need a male point of view to help you through. And again, it goes back to heart, trusting. Things of my heart is my worst enemy. Okay, let me help you. Stop giving it all away. And see, that's what happens with a lot of y'all. Y'all will either meet that person that you hope and you want them to be the one, or you want that person to be your BFF, and then what happens is, because of that want, you're too quick to give. You give it all up too quickly because you're hoping. Again, your feelings fail you. So instead of letting people work toward the goal of getting you, which is really the prize, and don't be misled. You are the prize. It's not him, it's not her, it's you. But again, you're so quick to want to just give it all away. You give it up too soon to people who don't even deserve you. So because you lead with your feelings, you get hurt and you get misled by your feelings. So with that being said, you have to start making people earn your respect, earn your love over time versus just, it feels good, let me give it to you. That's how you get hurt. That's how you get hurt. Again, your feelings will fool you. Your feelings are momentary. But what you don't understand is if you give value to people who have no value. You give power to people who have no power outside of you. You are the only person foolish enough to hand over power to somebody nobody else trusted power to. You have given the keys to your car to a person who don't even have a learner's permit, but wonder why your car is always in the ditch. At some point, it's kind of like war. You attack, you attack, you attack, you have a battle plan, you attack, you attack, you attack, you attack, you attack. At some point, there has to be an exit strategy whenever you have determined that this ain't it. I don't care how long you've been in it. I don't care how many kids you have with it. When you have determined that this ain't it, if it's something that even if you have a daughter, if your daughter was in the same position you were in, you would advise her to leave the relationship, but you're still in. There's a problem with that. It's time to withdraw your feelings. It's time to withdraw yourself. When it don't smell right, it ain't right. But please don't stay in something just for the sake of, I've been here all these years. I got all these kids. It'd be all right if I... No. You know it ain't no good. The people around you know it ain't no good. But you stay. And let's really talk about why you stay. Because you scared. Now, I'm sitting here reading all of these comments, and every single last one of you either fall up under the umbrella of you're scared of something, or you done gave up, you done gave your heart to the wrong person. Those are the 98% of the posts fall up under that category. Now, let's look at you. Let's have that hard conversation. Why you still there? Why? Are you afraid you can't find somebody else? Is it because the world has convinced you that nobody wants somebody this age with these amount of kids? Have you bought into the big lie of society that basically says nobody wants you but me? Have you bought into what man has said? Your dude has said nobody wants you but me. You deny it, but with every seed, something takes root. If I throw seeds up in the air and it falls in the ground and it becomes fertile over time, guess what? It's going to grow. And you've bought into the big lie. And that's why you hurt every day. That's why you don't want to go home every day. Because you bought into the big lie. There's a part of you. There's 20% of you that says, I can do better. I can find somebody better. But that other 80 keeps talking to you and keeps reminding you of all them kids. Keeps reminding you of the last relationship you was in that probably was even worse than the one you're currently in right now. And now you hurt every day. You cry every day. You go to the office, put your head down. You're in your cubicle crying. You don't want to go home. You live in misery. Why? Because you are afraid. You are led by you're led by the insecurities and fears that have misled you. The same one that started you off on this track. The one that made you say, here I am, have all of me after the second, third, fourth week. At some point, you have to disqualify your feelings and look at it, as I like to say, as a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Okay, so you have to go from being employee to employer of your life. So with that being said, you have to look at the performance of the people or the person in your life that's not producing nothing. And you have to make that hard call of, if I was the CEO of my company, which you are, A, would you hire the person you are dating? Would you hire the person you're married to? If it's a no, you have a problem. If you wouldn't hire or trust the person that you're dating, living with, married, booed up with, if you don't trust them to run the company known as your life, if you wouldn't trust them to do that, why are you still there? Why? See, that's the hard question. You run away from it daily, hoping, I hope things get better. If only he would just, no, he ain't. He won't. Because again, at some point, you have to just start to decide some stuff. You have to start making the decision to be the hero of your story versus the victim of your story. There has to be an effort there. You have to, because again, you have to save yourself. Whenever you're in something toxic, if something sits in something toxic, it's not going to get better over time. It's not going to get better over time. So at some point, you have to decide to become your hero and save yourself. You have to. And it goes back to what we were talking about yesterday when I showed the Bishop T.D. Jakes piece of generational stuff. If your kids see you hanging in a horrible marriage, horrible relationship to where people cheat on you all the time, do you wrong, you sit there and know he cheating on you, and you still stay there, what do you think your daughter gonna do 10, 15, 20 years down the line because she saw you go through it? She's gonna suffer through it. So it's gonna be a generational deal to where she's being punished because of you. Because you didn't have the balls to move. Because you didn't have the guts to say, you know what, enough is enough. Because you were arrested by fear. So now generations of you will have to endure and suffer. And again, if you are a child of God, your life is not about suffering. It's about being abundant. But again, you got to decide to walk in your abundance. But you can't live in abundance while living in misery. That's kind of like being happy and sad all at the same time. It's kind of like being big and being skinny at the same time. It just does not happen. It's like being rich and being poor at the same time. You can't do it. You got to decide. If you can't do it for yourself, you got to do this thing for your kids, for their kids, and for their kids, because a lot of this stuff is a generational thing. A lot of stuff that you're trapped by, you've probably either seen or lived in. Break the curse. Break the curse. Decide enough is enough. I'm not going to be the next one. Mama may have dealt with it, but I'm not going to deal with it. I'm breaking the cycle right now. So my kids don't have to fool with it. So my grandkids or my great-grandkids won't have to be looking stupid wondering why I try to get through this and why I can't get through this and why I feel like I'm bound. Because you never provided a blueprint on how to get out of this mess that you done put yourself in, being led by your feelings. If you haven't seen the blueprint, you have to provide the blueprint at some point. Versus just staying in mess. Where you either spend most of your time hoping things get better or hoping somebody died at some point, and that be your only way. If you ain't know somebody to pass away, or you hoping time just passes by, you're going to be too old to do anything. The worst thing you can do is let somebody rob you out of the prime of your life. And ladies, this is the prime of your life. When you become finer, when you become badder, when everything is just pow, this is going to be the best time of your life. But what sense does it make to be in the best season of your life physically, but be mentally drained all the time? Makes no sense to be in the best season of your life physically, but your spirit is broken. Your heart is broken. Somebody making you feel bad all the time. At some point, you have to decide. This is going to be what this is going to be, and this is for me. You spent your whole life being unselfish. You spent your whole adult life being unselfish with people who don't even deserve you. And yeah, I'm talking about probably your little stinking butt kids too. If you want to be real about it. Because some of y'all still, got grown behind children and they disrespectful to you, but you always say, but this my kid and who gonna do this if I don't? Let them grow up. Let them find out for themselves. Again, this is about you. And there's no honor in being drugged by people who don't care about you. You're sitting there breaking your neck over people who don't even think a word about you. Again, it falls back on you. You're going to have to decide. So start looking at things from a logistical standpoint versus always being led by your heart, which will constantly let you down. You better get some logistics going on versus being led by your heart, being led by your feelings, because your feelings are momentary. But that momentary deal can cause a lifetime worth of hurt if you don't stop it right now. That's real. But nothing happens until you decide. Everything starts with a decision. A lot of y'all just be hoping that the issues of this will help to entertain you. And I always say, we always entertain ourselves into a delusion of sorts. Because what we do is, my life ain't good, but if I stare at the screen long enough and I look at what's going on in the world, it takes me out of my stuff. It's kind of like an escape. It's kind of like the same escape that an alcoholic or a drug user uses. I mean, this is no different. It's an escape. This right here, your phone is an escape. So it provides an opportunity for you to not face your stuff. What I'm challenging you to do today is face your stuff. Stop putting stuff off. Stop procrastinating with your life. Stop running, start facing. That's your challenge of the day. And I'm expecting you to do it. I'm going to say this again. I'm expecting you to follow through and do. Because your life depends on it. If you're having the same conversations with your friends, if you're having the same conversations with yourself as you did last year and the year before about the same person, you wrong. You wrong. Stop running and start facing. If it ain't good, make it good. Again, you are the author, the actor, the producer of your own play called life. And you decide who stays, who goes, what chapter of life you're in. Sometimes you just have to write yourself out of a certain chapter into a new and better chapter versus writing the same story, chapter after chapter after chapter after chapter. You have to change how this thing goes. You have to change your endings. But you ain't going to change your endings if you always complaining about the same person, same issues, year after year after year after year after year after year after year. It's on you. Some of you, I sat there and I read the comments, and I'm like, let me talk to these folks right quick. Because everybody has the same story, and it shouldn't be. Being led by your feelings. And you got to start being your own gatekeeper to your mind. Anytime, there's feelings of insecurities or inadequacies, you got to block that thing out. Anytime you start to feel them same old voices that remind you of certain things in your life that keep you bound, sometimes you just gotta, rebuke and just, press past them little old voices that's in your mind that keep you bound. Versus, here it come, I done bought in. All right, then, stop finding reasons to stay in something that's stinking. That's ridiculous. Find reasons why you deserve a better life. Again, press past yourself. Push. Get better. But most importantly, stop running and just decide. Again, your children need to see a better version of you. But they'll never see a better version of you, and they'll never see what you could have become if you're buried up under the madness. If you've been arrested by fear, if you continue to allow your heart to lead you in the wrong direction of people who don't even deserve you. So that's your challenge of the day. I'm out of here. I love each and every single last one of you. Press past yourself. Find your better self and stop being afraid. Faith and fear can't live in the same spot.